Welcome back to Horsemanship 101 again today. I want to talk about the horse's brain. It's a little bit about the anatomy and the thought processes in it because, like many things in the horse world, I believe there's some misinformation on it because the status quo is not what I believe. And, like many things, I'm not going to swear up and down I'm right or wrong about anything. And primarily my videos are to induce some thought, get you to think about things a little bit, maybe do a little research, because a lot of things, something that's very common in the horse world is a lot of people will say that the horse is completely lacking a certain part of its brain that is necessary for certain thought processes. And I've never actually seen it, but I've heard the story lots about horses that will fake an injury or limp or something to get out of work, things like that. Years ago I used to joke about, this horse here. I swore she'd spend all day out in the pasture thinking up what to do to mess with me next. She's got a big bag of tricks. Not going to go into that too much right now, but I'd always get told, no, that's not possible because the horse is incapable of that kind of a thought process because of the brain, part of the brain that is necessary for that simply doesn't exist. They cannot premeditate, have forethought, planning, scheming, that type of stuff. They just simply can't do it because that part of the brain doesn't exist. And, I've decided, from my personal opinion or experiences, what I've seen, I don't agree with that. And so I started doing a bunch of research on it, and I came across a lot of articles written by very reputable horsemen, that I have a lot of respect for, and they would frequently say, nope, that part of the brain does not exist in a horse. But they never backed it up with anything other than their opinion. And I continued on, and I went through a bunch of articles that a little more medically and scientifically based, although even those ones, it was hard to give a lot of them credibility because I discovered that there was a lot of them out there that gave different names to different parts of the brain, so they weren't even agreeing on that, so it was hard to really give them a lot of credibility. Now, I can only go by certain things because I'm not a med student or anything like that. I'm not a vet, but something I did come across, there was a number of pictorials and actual photos of horse brains, and none of them said that that part of the brain didn't exist. The one line that actually was consistent in a number of articles, and it was worded almost exactly the same, so I think they might have been parroting one another, or somebody was, but that part of the brain that is necessary for certain thought processes is not non-existent, but they said it is small and underdeveloped. So it's not non-existent. Now, so I can kind of buy that, and I think for the most part, not too many horses have a great deal of capacity for forethought and planning and that type of thing. But I don't think that part of the brain is completely non-existent, because if it was, I think they would probably be entirely untrainable. They would live exclusively off their instincts, telling them when to eat, sleep, drink, and run away from danger, and that sort of thing. I don't think that they could, it would be possible to train a horse at all if they didn't have the ability of some thought processes. And it's been documented that, horses can problem solve and figure stuff out. So there has to be at least a small capacity for that type of stuff in the horse's head. It's got to be there. I mean, just logic would say so, really, to me. And I've also witnessed, firsthand, I have seen not just, one or two examples that I could take out of context, but I've seen actually quite a few examples of a horse, having some thought processes that included forethought and planning and such. And in all fairness, most of them were actually this horse here. So, I do believe she is a bit of an anomaly. I said in another video when I was talking about exceptions to rules, I was using this horse as an example. And, going to, say, I'll use humans, but it applies to virtually any animal on the planet. But humans, it's been very well documented that they have a variety of mental capacities and intelligence, that sort of thing. And, just looking around, you can tell, there's tall people, there's short people, there's skinny people, there's fat people, there's muscular people, there's really smart people, and there is people that are, quite frankly, dumber than a bag of nails. So there's a lot of variations, and I think even in the horse, if that part of the brain exists, it could be possible that there is a little variation in just how much it is developed and how big it is. Now, this particular horse here, there's absolutely no doubt that she is quite intelligent. So this one here, I believe her breeding is two fairly intelligent breeds that are known for their intelligence, and I think even as far as those two go, she's probably top of her class. But I've also said she's an anomaly. Now, if her brain is well developed for her intelligence, it would stand to reason it's possible that the part of the brain that is supposedly small and underdeveloped in most horses might actually be fairly well developed in this particular horse. Now, I don't think that's the norm. I don't think that's the standard. Like I said, this horse, there's a lot of things about her that just aren't normal, but the whole point of this is to not close doors, not simply say that part doesn't exist, because that would immediately eliminate a lot of possible explanations for behavior and a lot of possible solutions to problems, and that would certainly limit the ways you can approach the horse in training and things like that. So that's primarily what I want you to think about it. Don't close doors on things that might actually have some answers behind them, because you could end up just causing yourself more problems than you really want to. So just what part of the horse's brains do and don't exist, how smart are they, what are their thought processes, that they're capable of. Hey, let's not put limitations on them, okay? Have a good day.